Hey, I'm Daniel, and you're watching an episode of my podcast, The Filmcraziest Show, where I interview directors, filmmakers, actors, whatever. And on this episode, I was able to speak with co-writer and director Aaron Fradkin, as well as actress Misha Reeves, who plays the titular Val in the new horror film Val. The film is currently playing in select theaters and releases on demand on October 5th, wherever you get your films. And the film is about a criminal on the run who's trying to evade the cops, and he ends up breaking into this mansion, which is owned by Val. And he finds himself in a kind of much stranger situation than he was before. And in the interview, we get into the set design, playing the character of Val, creating the film, much more, including work and also rewriting a scene to take place in a sex dungeon. Because if you have that at your disposal, of course you're going to use it, right? So here is Aaron and Misha to introduce the interview. To start, could I have you guys just introduce yourselves and the name of the film?
Sure. Well, I am Aaron Fradkin. I'm the co-writer and director of Val.
Cool.
And I'm Misha Reeves, the star of the hit feature Val.
I love the energy already.
There you go.
I see like the background behind you. Did your house like inspire the mansion at all?
It's yeah. I mean, this is just what my house looks like. Aaron knows. Aaron knows I'm a little weird person.
Yes, that's what inspired the movie, but I don't want to get ahead of ourselves.
Sure, there's a charm about it. Now, Aaron, I'd love to start with just asking, like, you usually do short films with social house films, so I'm just curious what drew you to making a feature like Val?
Well, this is actually my third feature.
Okay.
I've sort of been messing up since my early 20s, but yeah, I mean we actually started shooting short horror films before we even began writing Val. We shot one or two short horror films and put them online. Didn't really think much of it. They were just sort of fun practice for actually making a horror feature. And while we were already on set filming Val, we were actually just watching the views of our short films go up and up and up, which was very exciting. And I guess encouraged us to, even work harder on Val. But yeah, I would say the shorts actually came before even writing Val. It was sort of our entry into the horror space.
Okay, neat. Now,
Yeah.
Misha, what drew you to the film to sign on to play Val?
Aaron asked me to. I mean, I've known Aaron for a super long time. Back in the day, I don't need to say how long ago because I don't need to age myself now. But Aaron and I used to make comedy shorts together before we entered the realm of horror. He basically would be like, I have this funny idea. Are you down to do it? And I'm the queen of saying, yeah, sure. And Aaron's ideas are always amazing and hilarious. And so of course, when he came to me and he said, I have a feature, before I even read the script, I said, yeah, sure, because I knew it was gonna knock it out of the park and I knew it was gonna be great. And turns out it was, or else that would have been real weird for me. But no, it was amazing. And Aaron's a blast to work with. So it was the most fun. You're
Well,
the
that's why I
most
say
fun.
that's why I say I've been messing up since my early 20s. You kind of have to get the bad stuff out of your system.
It was great. We had the best of times.
It was a blast.
Oh, that's awesome. Now, I think you both could probably speak to this, but can you talk about developing Val and just also her style in the film?
Get in there, Aaron.
So, well, yeah, I guess the idea sort of came about more so out of asking ourselves what are we able to shoot for not a lot of money. That's sort of, I don't really like talking about budget all that much. I like to think that any idea we come up with is possible. But for this one, it definitely did come from this place of what could we do with, one or two actors, people that we know and that we're fans of, and how can we shoot this in one place? And so I pitched the idea to Victoria of just a criminal breaking into this woman's home and holding her hostage. And, and then we sort of developed this supernatural twist, just so that we could take it in a direction that, nobody would be able to predict. And that is one thing I'm very proud of this movie. I don't think anybody would be able to guess the ending until the end is already there. But that is definitely sort of how it began. And then Misha and Zachary Mooren are just my two most talented friends, and so we cast them, and that's sort of how it began.
Okay.
Yeah, and Val was fun to create because I just have always been a fan of old stars like Gloria Swanson, Mae West, Marilyn Monroe. I always watched the Judy Garland and Mickey Rooney films and kind of made a weird mashup of all of those characters and got to play with Val. And it was the most fun character to inhabit for the entire time that I was able to do that. It was really fun.
Yeah, it seemed really fun, just from the performances to the set design to the costumes. Seemed like a blast to make.
Oh, just got to hang out in my undies all the time. Underpants.
Aaron, I'd also love to ask, what was it like? Sorry, my brain stopped for a sec. What was it like doing the research for the high class escorts?
Yeah, what was that like, Aaron?
The research. Ooh. I mean, there really wasn't that much research involved. I of course I co-wrote it with Victoria Fratz, who is also my fiance. Yeah, I mean, together we just sort of came up with our own sort of semi-realistic take. Although then again, it is sort of a fantasy, so not everything has to be super realistic. Like the fetish, the parts where she's sort of indulging one of her clients' fetishes is completely made up.
Okay.
I've never had that experience in my life of throwing a collar on somebody. So yeah, it's all just there wasn't really much research to that part.
Okay. The monologue about the cockroach stomping definitely had me maybe think of a question if there was any other like weird client requests that you had thought of that you didn't put into the film.
No, that's sort of just diving dark into the crevasses of our minds, I suppose, and yeah.
Okay. Fair.
And just sort of coming up with the weirdest, sort of like bordering, realistic and a little out there, I suppose.
Okay. Now I have to ask, was this PG-13?
It was, yeah.
Okay.
That was our intention. Yeah.
Okay, because there was I'm sure some people will notice it, but my favorite like little comedy moment was when Finn says fuck, and then Val points out, oh, that's your one F-bomb for the day. Because I just love that F-word allowance for PG-13 movies.
Exactly. No, that was definitely the intention.
Okay, cool. Now, I'd love to talk about the set design because I know you had talked about just the one space. So I think it's more of a location scouting question. What was it like finding the mansion and making sure it was the right spot for Val?
So Victoria did a lot of the location searching. We basically just went to Peerspace and Airbnb. That's how it began.
Okay.
And we scouted a few places. We were trying to find places in LA because a lot of our cast and crew are based in Los Angeles. But we found this location in Ojai and we scouted it. My parents even joined us. And when we all walked in, I mean, it was a no-brainer. Like it was as if this home was designed for this movie. And I think that also sort of lent itself to the magic of the film, that when we were all living there together as a cast and crew, we really felt like we were in the world of Val. And it was special, and it just kind of, I don't know, it just kind of came together better than I could have imagined.
Oh, that's awesome. Misha, were you able to put your own flavor on the house at all?
Oh, I didn't even need to. The fact that the house came complete being slightly haunted and it came with its own sex dungeon, I didn't need to do anything. I just showed up.
Okay.
That's right. Uh-huh.
Probably brought the mannequins.
Oh, yeah, those did not come with the house. Those were Aaron's. If we
Well,
however, the creepy guy came with the basement. Without giving too much away, once you see Val, you'll be like, oh, creepy guy came with the basement.
yes. In fact, we actually did not even plan on having those scenes take place in the dungeon until we saw the location.
Okay.
Until we saw that the location had a dungeon. And then we actually rewrote all of the scenes with the mannequins, which originally took place in a bedroom upstairs, and then moved that downstairs to the sex dungeon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Amazing. Because if you have a sex dungeon, you just can't not use it.
That
How
was
do you
our
not
thing.
use it?
Yeah, no, those were our thoughts exactly. So.
Okay. Now, I'd also love to ask just a directing question. Just with how Finn you kind of play with Finn's state of mind. So, what was that like for you visually, kind of putting that to screen?
So our DP Keelan Carruthers came with a lot of cool ideas and a lot of cool equipment that was super fun to experiment with. And because we were dealing with the character who's sort of concussed and hallucinating the entire time. Visually, we got to really get weird and crazy with what kind of lenses we were using, and we had a lens baby, which was it's like a tilt shift kind of effect, where it sort of like blurs the edges, and there's only like a fine little point in the center that's actually in focus. Throughout the entire shoot, Keelan and I were even asking ourselves, like, are we overusing the lens baby? But we both just loved the look of that so much. And it was a great excuse to just sort of get weird stylistically.
Okay, I think it
Get
works
weird.
for the film.
Yeah,
get weird. And Val's a little weird, so you have to get weird.
Get weird.
Cool. I think that was my time, so I'll just plug where people can find the film, as Val's releasing in select theaters on October 1st, on demand on October 5th, and Blu-ray on November 2nd.
Yay!
Cool. And I just wanted to thank you both for chatting with me on the Filmcraziest show about Val, and good luck with the release.
Thank you, Daniel.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Great to meet you.
Hey, thank you for watching the interview. Hopefully there's something in there that makes you want to check out the film, maybe check out what the twist would be. And you can find that out when it releases on demand on Tuesday, October 5th, and it also releases on Blu-ray November 2nd. And yeah, you can find more of my interviews here on my channel, or you can also find some interviews, some reviews on my website, filmcraziest.com. Filmcraziest.com. And you can find me on Twitter at Daniel Prim.